Now, ladies and gentlemen, to honor and in respect of our two great nations and the men and women who have served and continue to serve, we ask you rise, move your hats for the playing of the national anthems of Canada and the United States of America by the RPI Pep Band.
Welcome to the Houston Fieldhouse ECAC Hockey on SNY. I'm Matthew Mugno alongside Dan Frigin. We're going to wait one moment for the anthem to conclude. Good way to pay respects and kick off this contest. The RPI Engineers men's ice hockey team hosts the Miami Redhawks. And I can hear a faint ringing in the distance, Dan. It sounds like they're ringing in the Eric Lang era here at the Houston Fieldhouse. It's got a nice chime to it.
Yes, it certainly does. And I mean, this is a guy that's won everywhere he's been. And I'm sure it's going to be no different here. Once he lays that foundation, which is the culture, I'm sure he's going to build a winner on top of that.
And Fridge, it's felt like a long time coming. This was a hire from April. It seems like a completely different team. 19 new players total, 9 transfers, 10 first years. What's the roster looking like in a contest like this? A lot of momentum built into the offseason.
Yeah, well, you know what? He's probably in the process. They've only played one game so far. They lost last week 3-0 to BU. So he's going to be looking for some goal scoring, but also he's still trying to figure out the players, get a feel for them, who he can trust, who needs some work, and trying to get that chemistry. And I mean, this is a work in progress.
Certainly for both squads, the Miami Redhawks as well, coming by plane all the way to here, Troy, New York, for this contest. Both teams kicking off this season. And for the Engineers, first puck drop of the year. Philip Sitar at center, Tyler Wallace at left wing, Matthew Buckley at right wing. Bruno Berveris, former Miami Redhawk, getting the start tonight in his first game, trading in the M crest for 3 letters, RPI. And we're underway here as Sobieski moves this over to Gunnar Van Dam, and it's blocked away. First possession, and it's out for the Redhawks. And the starting keeper for the Redhawks, Mateo Drobak, as they wait for Motu to clear. Looks like the older keeper will get the starts. Pass out, cut away by Buckley. Buckley, former Oshawa General, was teammates with Beckett Seneke, Anaheim Ducks high draft pick. Number 3 overall just a few years ago. Wilson out to Tapper. Tapper a shot high and over the net. Caught some glass and it's around the boards. RPI first possession here. Classic down low, a shot in the slot. That's Wilson. Now Tapper cuts things off the blue line. Stick handles, 2-on-1 in zone. A shot patted away by Drobach.
Oh, he had Roller going to the net there wide open. Elected to shoot, and a real good save by Drobach.
You know, Dan, they always talk about new head coach bump. You've been behind this bench before. What's the energy like when you have a new head coach?
Well, you know, it's a feeling out process that goes both ways. The head coach is feeling out his players, and the players are feeling out the head coach. So it goes both ways. You know, we used to say the hay's in the barn. So they know what the game plan should be, and they're going to be concentrating on their systems and how they play, less about University of Miami at this point.
Dover Tinling back in healthy. Was dealing with something before the season began. He's one of those returning players. Was a leading goal scorer on this team last season. A trusted two-way center. Moved out. Here's Smith for the Redhawks. Kicked away to the stick of Gofredo. Sibling now on the women's hockey team. His other sister played for Clarkson last season. Kept at the blue line and dumped in for a regroup. Rivera's first touch of the puck tonight for 33. Former Red Hawk. He gets the start against his former team. Not too many words from head coach Anthony Noreen on facing the former keeper, but what's that experience like? You're trying to get your team fresh off of a sweep last weekend. Now you're facing a goaltender you know. Does that factor into your game plan?
You know what? Obviously, I think some of these guys, well, you mentioned 19 new players for RPI. Well, Miami's got 21 new players. So only the ones that have come back would know what kind of a goaltender he is and how to beat him. So it would depend on those guys in the lineup. But I think it's a situation where no matter who you're playing, you want to outplay the goaltender that's playing across from you.
And that keeper is Mateo Drobach, Oakville, Ontario native. Comes in with 2 games experience at .250 goals against average and .911 save percentage this season. They swept Ferris State last weekend, and then Ferris beat Western Michigan, the defending national champion, last night. Keep at the blue line, a shot tipped away. It hit O'Zolins in front. Now Stupka, the center of a big line. He's 6'2", 205, centering Grimes 6'3", Nasson 6'4", Boston Bruins prospect. Here's Gordon, another one of those transfers from Arizona State, NCHC conference member, former member, playing against a team he's familiar playing against. Mata up ice. Off a stick but kept. That was McNeil with the tip. So back and forth here in contact at center. That was Grimes. Couldn't make the play. Now Mata at the sidewall. He'll get this dump in high. An heirloom and a turnover. Now the Redhawks with the break. Up the sidewall. Chipped out. A move on net. Berveris makes the stop. First of the night for the keeper. Dumped around the boards. Kept in by Emmons. Chipped by Sitar. Player with national experience. Former UConn Husky. Scored the game-winning goal in the Connecticut Ice Tournament last year. Only goal of the season. He had to sit because the rule at the time, no transfers from junior experience. A shot gets through. That was classic. Number 6 last season. Agnew was wearing that number, and as we alluded to earlier, Dan, a lot of change here for the Engineers.
Yes, I already like how Coach Lang has structured the breakout. They get the puck, as soon as they get the puck in the defensive zone, they're off to the races, and those forwards are getting out into the neutral zone.
Rollers a shot, the rebound, Buckley. A high-octane line here. Rollers one of the standouts from last season. Tapper jetting to the net. Wilson a move, a shot. Blocked away by Donato. Pass all the way opposite point. O'Zolins keeps. He'll launch this into the right corner. Ends up near the Stanley Steamer sign. Here's Morozov with the touch. Shot from the point. Lemieux keeps. Tapper and Rollers chase down. It's out of the zone. Lemieux keeps it in. Drobach to play with the big goalie stick. 45. 2 wins on that sweep last weekend. First time the program swept in their home opener since 2018.
Oh, not only that, but it was the first win they had in 342 days, which I think is like 49 weeks or 11 months. It's a long time.
I don't have that calculator brain like you do, Fridge. Now in for Smith, former Quinnipiac Bobcat, getting some more time here as a Red Hawk. Into the zone, an advance. Backhand shot on net, interference call here, or tripping, my apologies. Stick right in the skates, and that looks to be Gunnar Van Dam. Transfer from Alaska Anchorage.
Well, he knew his stick was caught in the feet because he let it go, but damage had been done. As the referee, C.J. Hannafin, former RPI player, out as an official this evening here at the Fieldhouse.
It takes a lot of integrity to wear the stripes, and he's in a familiar building. So the Engineers will start on the penalty kill here at the 14:43 mark, and it is listed on the scoreboard as interference. Looked to be a trip in my book. First look at the Engineers penalty kill. Giampa with a nice move to the inside. Right shot lining up in the center. Kept by Thompson. Morozov is open. A shot, he scores! Ilya Morozov, his first NCAA goal. The youngest player in college hockey opens the season for the Red Hawks.
That's right, and that's why some of the pro scouts are here tonight. He's only 17 years old, 6'3", 205. Picks up his first goal of the season on a real nice feed on the power play. And here it is, nice quick shot, stops it, doesn't waste a lot of time, and Riveras beats him on the far side, just underneath the blocker.
The assist goes to Doug Grimes. Good backhand, forehand move of the paddle to shake a defender and find the seam.
Grimes, I believe, is a former BU transfer.
Here's McNeil around for O'Zolins. Boston University having a revival the last few seasons, but raising themselves back to prominence. Found themselves in a close contest, losing the national championship last season. Now we'll play for O'Zolins. He's got time and space, so forechecker on. Motors out to Gordon. Here's Gordon to the inside of the ice. Brought down, and it's in the corner. See if this is a call here. And it looks like there will be a hook.
RPI just coming off a penalty kill. Will now go on the power play themselves. This is where Miami kind of excelled last weekend. They had a lot of power plays that they capitalized on.
This is Ethan Hay in the box. He was centering the fourth line last contest against Ferris. And here's a look at that penalty. We'll have a power play when we come back to ECAC Hockey on SNY. Welcome back to ECAC Hockey on SNY. RPI Engineers' first power play under the new coaching regime here. And it looks that Tapper will exit the faceoff dot. Wallace, a specialist in the dot, comes in, transfer from Holy Cross. Puck out to Sobieski. Can't pull the trigger. Sobieski, a one-timer. He scores! Eric Lang, welcome to the ECAC. 1-1.
Well, that's Sobieski's first goal of the season, obviously, because they were shut out last weekend at BU, and it looked like the goaltender, he really didn't see it. Throwback, really didn't see the puck, where it came from. And that glove side was wide open as he was kind of deep in the butterfly position, and just a great shot by Sobieski.
And Fridge, I'll tell you, I don't think we've seen energy like that in this building in a little while. As you can recall, there was the loss to Cornell at the end of the season, 6-0 at home to earn a playoff berth last year, 2024-25. Stoppage of play here, official's arm is up. It'll be an icing. So the Engineers will have another face-off in their offensive end, 13-12 mark.
Well, that's the definition of execution. You win the face-off, one pass, one-timer in the net. A lot of traffic, too, in front of throwback.
So the former Youngstown Phantom with his first goal. Wallace, a high shot, odd angle, almost found its way cutting across the goal plane. Wallace takes a heavy check in the corner, finds a man up top. Now Classic, all the way across ice for Wallace. He gets a piece of it and keeps. Now a shot, they score again! Matthew Buckley wants in on the party. They're going to have to keep a few pucks. His first NCAA goal.
Well, Buckley, they were high on this guy. He was playing for the Ottawa Generals, was drafted, and then they had so many real good players last year. His production kind of fell off. 13 goals, 22 assists. However, the year before, he had like 32 goals. So he certainly could put the puck in the net, and RPI will be relying on him this year as far as goal scoring is concerned.
Every scout will tell you number 21, sharpshooter. 2-1 RPI, a shot on goal here. Blockered away by Breveris. A tip to the side of the net from Delic is wide and out of the zone. On his horse is Tapper. He pokes it free into the corner. He takes a hit, but makes the play. Now Tapper again with the puck on his stick. A forehand pass around the boards. Goffredo pinches down low and breaks free. He's tied up. Out to the point. Here's Wilson, a shot into a block. That's Delic. Good heads-up play from 13. Over the blue line, they'll go for a change, and O'Zolins picks up. Out to Wilson. Can't collect on his backhand, so it's Hay. Now Rollers. Big body. Gets it far enough for Goffredo to handle. In the corner. Up the wall. Here's a coin. A shot off a stick and out of play. Engineers with a few good plays to take the 2-1 lead here, Dan.
Yeah. There's, like I say, that they're playing with the lead right now, and it's good to see.
RPI's first goal, power play goal. Scored by
Here's Ethan Hay getting to the dot. And we have the announcements in arena for those first career goals. Gaspar Sobieski and Matthew Buckley with the tallies. A shot just goes wide from Smith on a set face-off play. Now Sitar, a play down center. Here's Buckley. Just a step away from an opportunity. Feathered up the wall, but it's sent back in. Buckley first on the forecheck. Sent around. Sitar chases. Wallace goes for the pick. Sobieski with a heavy hit. Rivers on the backhand. Flashy play from the keeper. Sitar can't handle. Off of Buckley's chest and into the neutral zone. Sobieski sidestepped. Van Dam to Wallace. Wallace a chip. Two players get tangled up at center ice. And the Engineers go for a change. Here's Russell. Michigan Tech transfer from Old Hickory, Tennessee. Andrew Jackson's nickname right there. Classic out to Russell. Mata takes a hit. That was Sean McEwen initiating contact. Now Classic at the goal line for McNeil. Now Gordon. All for McNeil in the chase. Quinn tied up 2-on-2. And it's moved out. Here's Stupka. He tried to feather a pass. It's knocked away by Lemieux. O'Zolins. A shot to the side of the net. Bruveris can't find it for a moment. He's back to his feet. Now in the slot, a shot. A look for a tip. Everyone froze there. And a cycle from Grimes. Cut off by Lemieux. Good eye. Off the glass to the point and out. As Quinn couldn't get his glove back on, he goes to the bench. Around for Grimes, a shot on goal, sticked away. Some steady play from the keeper so far, Dan.
Yeah, couldn't get out to that puck that went around the wall, and that's how the Miami player got that shot. He had to get back to the net rather quickly. And deflects that puck into the netting.
Bruno Bruveris, keeper from Miami, Ohio, the team he's playing tonight, posted an .866 save percentage, a .213-2 record last season. He's looking to blow that out of the water as an Engineer. Tinling, he finds Lindbergh. Pass across, 3-on-2, a hasty defensive play that's able to break up. Now puck at the side of the net and a battle. Nets off its horns for a moment as Lindbergh possesses. Kept low for Bono, the Merrimack transfer, Hockey East player. Strong on his skates, Van Dam. Another shot from Sobieski, just wide, as he's tied up with Delic. But he's able to keep the zone with a man at his legs. Check in the corner from Tinling. They trusted him to take on massive responsibilities at center the last two seasons.
Yeah, and he's a guy that you can rely on as far as execution to win the draw, to execute whatever play you've drawn up.
A defensive specialist. He scored the team's only shorthanded goal last year. Rollers over the blue line. Drobak plays this into open space. Almost cut off by Wilson. It's up at the blue line for Rollers to handle. A hard shot in. Drobak stops the break in again. Tapper with a good keep. Now Wilson on his backhand to Gretzky's office. Out to Goffredo. Russell a shot just wide. Looking for the pass off the wall. Wilson motors into the corner. It's broken up. A heavy check. McEwen took that into the numbers. Official's arm is up. And Drobak didn't notice that the official had his arm up from that hit. So slow to get to the bench is the keeper, and the Redhawks get an extra skater on. 7:40, clock still ticking, as the Redhawks look to break into the zone here with the extra man on. Chip out, not a full possession for the Engineers, so keeper still out. Play continues. Now O'Zolins touches up, and it'll be the Engineers' second penalty of the first period. Rich, do you notice who took the penalty?
Yeah, Rollers. He's going to go to the box here.
I just saw a player get hit with numbers in the corner. There's Rainer's Rollers right there.
Yeah, yeah. He's in the box for two. And another power play here for the Redhawks.
And they scored pretty swiftly off the first power play. Shot from the point just over the net. That was Thompson. Van Dam takes a shot from Grimes as the puck comes all the way out of the zone. Lindbergh now on quick shift. Tinling and Lindbergh. Two trusted centers on this team, experienced centers. Lindbergh, a former AIC player under Eric Lang, so he follows his head coach here to Troy, New York.
He's a
Puck
good,
dumped out there by Sobieski.
well, I was just going to say, he's a good player. He had a real good game last weekend against BU. Could have had a couple of goals.
Puck moved down low, 2-on-2 behind the cage, and sauced all the way out. Droback has to chase this to the bottom of the circle. Bono on his horse. Picked up by Smith. Smith pumps the brakes and he'll look for some help as the Redhawks have less than a minute to operate here. In stride off a boot. Gordon dumps this out. And the Engineers get another quick change, Tinling back on. Junior defender Jimmy Gaffredo as well. At the right side, Smith over the blue line. Misplays Gaffredo down the center lane. It's picked off. Now one-on-one, Lindbergh hustling his man. That was Quinn. Sent up the boards for Tinling. Tinling with some speed off for Lindbergh. Heads up play, he brings it back over his own blue line for Gaffredo. Passing catch all the way down ice. On goal, it's covered and let out with the man on. The Redhawks looking for a quick break. Chip to Wallace. Wallace rubbed out by Felon. And the Engineers successfully kill that power play. 5:14 on the clock, a stoppage here for an icing. A lot of coins turning up heads for the Engineers here.
Yeah, real good penalty kill. They moved the puck well, killed off some time. Lindbergh's a real good PK player. And I was just watching at the line changes too with the PK guys. They were really nice and crisp, didn't miss a beat.
Great tempo so far here in this contest. Home opener for the RPI Engineers. They host the Miami, Ohio Redhawks from the NCHC. Felon across a shot just wide. Picked up by Wallace. Passed off down the center lane. No one was there into free space. Sitar pumps the brakes, looking for Buckley. In the corner, a 2-on-2 battle ensues. Picked up by Wilson, free puck. Now out to center. A chip and a change for Emmons. Sobieski on. Scored the opening goal for the team just a little over 10 minutes ago. As Rollers is hit in stride. Left shot, opposite side, just wide. Sobieski out for Van Dam. Mohawks down the left side, traversing around the net. A wraparound, it's left in front. And the loose puck finds its way to the wall. Tapper, quick hands. Head up, backhand dish for the point man. Giampa picks up. Down the left wing, he tries to avoid contact and gets his stick tied up. Wilson hit in stride, but the puck rolls off his stick. Now Sobieski picks up, and a change here.
Boy, Rollers just missed that one in tight. Just jumped over his stick.
Here's Gunnar Van Dam, transfer from Alaska Anchorage. This puck out to Grimes. Grimes picks up. A shot! An absolute missile over the cage. Lindbergh goes to play that. Comes back for Sobieski. A backhand dish at the blue line. It's broken up. Redhawks begin their offensive again. Now for Nassen. He keeps a shot with some bodies in front. Now Grimes out to the hashes. Picked away by Sobieski. Out from Tinling. Bono gets on the ice here. The big man, former Merrimack Warrior, coming in with some experience.
Good defensive play there by Gaffredo just to lift the stick and steal that puck.
Gaffredo with a good carry out. He gets this in deep for Gordon. Dan, a lot of experience on this Engineers roster. Many transfers, but a lot of them have good experience. Smith, left shot looking for the passing lane. It's cut off. That was Hay, the intended target. Out for Mata, a chip. That one with a wedge and out of play. 2:23 remaining in this first period. A lot of action. We'll be back here on SNY in a few moments, folks. Stick with us.
This is GE Vernova, helping move the energy that our world needs. Welcome to a new era of energy.
I was born a leader.
It wasn't given to me.
I couldn't buy it.
How'd I get here?
I decided.
I decided.
I decided.
I decided.
Decide to lead as an Army officer.
Welcome back to ECAC Hockey on SNY. A 2-1 contest here at the Houston Fieldhouse. Engineers leading the Miami Redhawks by a score. Puck out of play, another face-off will ensue. Strong play from the Sitar, Wallace, Buckley line, Fridge.
Yeah, they've been playing real well so far. And it's early, so they're just figuring out their chemistry.
Face-off at center ice, new Puckman logo here on the rink at the Fieldhouse. Buckley, a chop. The puck comes out to Wallace. Wallace, a feed for Sitar, just a step behind. Albeit good tempo from the Engineers in this first period. Classic international transfer, weaves his way into the zone. It's picked off by Smith. A feed down the center lane, a look for Helgeson, as he was all alone. A check into the corner boards. It looks like one of the glass frames got dislodged. And two players, that's Buckley and Stupka getting into it. Apologies, Smith. Wonder if they're going to take a look at that in the corner, if they're just loose.
I think they are. And while we have some time, there's six ECAC teams in action.
It's that time of the year again, Dan.
That's right. And the Ivies have a later start date, so that's why they're not playing. But after period 2 at that icebreaker out in Arizona, Alaska is tied with Quinnipiac 1-1. Union is up 2-0 at Mercyhurst. Colgate and BU are tied with 5 minutes left in the first period. There's no score there. Clarkson is up 1-0 at Penn State.
Oh, after last night, that was a big one.
Yeah, they beat Penn State last night. And that's it. Oh, no, St. Lawrence and Vermont are scoreless with 8 minutes left in period number 1.
Cross conference there. Gavin McKenna looked like Nikita Kucherov in his first few games. I mean, that Arizona State winner, the entire hockey universe was watching that. The game was free on YouTube. But Clarkson, an ECAC school, they're known for their grit. They never give up, and they won that game. Congratulations to J.F. Houle for that Big Ten victory out at Penn State. We pick up here with 1:37 remaining. Plenty of upsets already. Every game last night was an upset for some Thursday night college hockey. Rollers just misses the aerial puck over the line. Now a break here for the Redhawks. Giampa, a backhand dish up the wall. It's picked off by Wilson. Lukashevich tries to keep, but Tapper's a big body. Vessel moving down that left wing. Good support here. Giampa just out of his reach. Now Wilson. Wilson contains a backhand dish. Rollers just on the inside. Pass was to the outside. Here's O'Zolins. One-handed dish to Goffredo with some speed all the way down ice. And I believe that's the first Engineers icing of the contest. So the faceoff will come down to their end within the final minute here. 47 seconds left in the first frame.
Yeah, there's been good pace of this game. Both teams moving their feet. Getting some scoring opportunities.
Stupka and Lindberg at center. Out for Bono. Into the zone. Chase down from Lindberg. Anticipated the check and moved the puck. Here's Nassen. Out for Stupka, a shot. Off the glove and wide. Goffredo chips around his man, but Grimes is there. Backhand down low. Nassen carries out to the bottom of the circle. Here's Felon, a shot. Through traffic. Plenty there, Grimes. Another look in front, kept to the point. And McEwen lost the puck on that shot. A fan, Grimes in on the forecheck here, plastering Tinling. And that'll do it for the first period. An exciting roller coaster here, some special teams. And that'll be the first 20 minutes for Eric Lang and the new staff. I think that shakes some rust off.
Definitely. McEwen there on the blue line there for Miami. I think he was caught between trying to make that pass or shoot the puck and ended up just rolling off his stick. He's the grandson of Tuckahoe, a Boston University guy, coached at Princeton University, UMass Amherst.
Plenty of lineage here as we prepare to interview head coach Eric Lang. Hi, Eric. It's been a little while since the last time you were in this building. Now you're behind the bench as the head coach. How was the first experience with this first period?
Yeah, pretty neat. Just a special day on a personal note, but obviously, just getting to the hockey game and nerves or, a little bit of jitters. But once the puck goes down, they actually liked us there for about the first 15, 16 minutes, and then we got to do a little better job of taking care of the puck, sure ins and sure outs, managing that game. Didn't love our last 2 or 3 minutes, but we'll clean that up.
Yeah, so you had about, 3 weeks of practice, played BU last weekend, and here you are tonight. What do you like what you see in the team so far?
Yeah, you know what, things we've been talking about, don't glide anywhere, playing through pucks. I thought we looked fast at times here. Good coming through the neutral zone with good clean possession. Our breakout is something we've had a great focus on since day one. I thought we broke the puck out fairly clean. Centers did a good job of staying underneath some pucks there. So lots of things we liked. We've got to slow them down a little bit in their neutral zone transition. Something we'll talk about here in between periods.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
A pleasure to have the new head coach, the new bench boss for the RPI Engineers with us as he exits the ice with that 2-1 lead.
Open palm, Charles palm here. Speed, speed. Nice, nice. Last puck.
Here's what I know about hockey in the ECAC. It's tough, and there are no nights off. And there's a big difference between being a hard-working team and the hardest working team. You know, you come into the Houston Fieldhouse, you're going to see a team that plays with second and third effort. You're going to see a team that doesn't glide. You're going to see a team where the puck is the attraction, and you're going to walk out of the Houston Fieldhouse regardless of results saying that team works. For us moving forward, we know the hardest, toughest playing team finds a way to win, and that's been our mantra since day one. We are pouring the foundation for where RPI hockey is today, but more importantly, where it's headed in the future.
RPI and hockey are synonymous. You know, you talk to alums, and dating all the way back to the start of the program in 1901, they have fond memories of hockey and what hockey means to them. They remember coming to Houston Fieldhouse, this beautiful venue behind us, and reminiscing about meeting friends and family. It's a culture here of hockey, and it's one of the reasons I picked RPI, because when I came to campus, it was this feeling that this is what we do. We go to hockey on Friday night, we go to hockey on Saturday night, we wear the diagonal RPI with pride, and it matters to this community.
The why is each other, but it's also bigger than just the team. I think it's the community. Every time alumni come back, they say how great the community was when the team was winning. So I think that kind of pushes us to kind of get back to that. But I think there's a couple whys. I think internally it's for each other, but then we also know that it's bigger than just the team. It's a town, so.
The atmosphere has to be one where we care about each other, we love one another, and we don't have a team that plays with each other. We have a team that plays for each other. And really what it comes down to is having a family atmosphere. And, you know, it starts at the top for us. We have a great president, Marty Schmidt. We have an incredibly talented athletic director, Christy Bowers. And they have created this family environment, which makes it easy for us to keep going with.
It's a family. Honestly, I think brotherhood's a perfect word for it. You know, every year that I've been here, I've created friendships and memories that'll last a lifetime. I feel like that's part of the tradition, you know, is creating friends and basically family for the rest of your life. It's definitely special. And at the end of the day, you know, it's bigger than just an individual or a couple guys. I think it's, you know, the program that we want to leave in a better spot than where we found it.
You know, our season tickets are trending up, and that's really exciting for me, because I think that just shows our student athletes the pride of this community, and not just our RPI institution, but Troy has in RPI hockey. It's super cool to be in the community, go down to the farmer's market and have an RPI hockey shirt on, and for people to ask me, how are the teams doing? What's coming up this weekend? I can't wait to see, you know, the game at Houston Fieldhouse. That kind of culture doesn't exist everywhere. And when you think about American sports, to have an institution and a community that is hockey first, super fun.
It's a special building, a lot of history behind it, a lot of history behind the program. Every time you put on the RPI logo, you kind of reminded of that. And the rafters in the arena kind of remind you of every time you practice and play. So it's definitely something that, you know, you don't want to take for granted, and just enjoy the moment.
You know, every day I walk in the Houston Fieldhouse, I always make sure I take a look at the banners that are up in the building here. And, you know, those weren't achieved by teams that played comfortably. Those were achieved by teams that sacrificed for each other. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and it's time for us to create our own legacy. And it's time for us to add on to some of these great banners and some of this great tradition here at RPI. This is a special place for special people. It's not for everybody. And when I look at the type of people that are here, they don't want to be comfortable. The academics are challenging. The hockey is challenging. To balance both at an incredible institution like RPI, there's a lot on their plate, and I think that's what makes it special. Anytime in life where you can get out of your comfort zone, anytime in life when it gets really hard, it's always worth it. And, you know, we have the resources and support here at RPI for our players to do special things, not only on the ice, but in the game of life. And, you know, when you are a coach and you can recruit to an institution you absolutely believe in, it makes things a lot easier.
Hi, Matthew Mugno alongside Dan Fridgen. Dan, that video was fantastic. It gave a lot of insights that we don't normally see every day, especially at the college level. You've been behind the bench. What's that preparation like?
Well, it's a lot of work. I mean, the players are, out there having a little bit of fun, but there's a fine line between having fun and really working hard and getting after it. And as a coach, they'll get to know your style. I know it's brand new for Coach Lang with the players, but they'll get to know his style. But it's a lot of work goes into it, but they still have a little bit of fun as well.
Yeah, looks like a lot of fun. We're seeing that translate onto the ice tonight with a new head coach, some new energy. We saw a drone shot. That was pretty cool. But they talk about returning to that character, returning to that history. You've seen a lot of that. What's it like to walk into this building every day as the coach?
You know what? It's fun. You want to make it so that the guys are excited to come to the rink every day. So there's a fine line between practice and, getting back out there.
We'll be back in a few moments for some more ECAC hockey on SNY.
The RPI Pet Band.
Welcome back to second period action here at the Houston Fieldhouse. Engineers leading 2-1. There's the new leader of men here behind the bench, Eric Lang, 2006-8 assistant coach at AIC, 2008-10 head coach at Manhattanville D3 school, assistant coach under Brian Riley at Army, where he led the recruiting efforts, video analysis, and power play development. Our Engineers scored a power play goal tonight from 2011-16. Built that up. Then helped build AIC from the ground up. Head coach there from 2016-25. Winning 155 games, captured the Atlantic Hockey regular season championship or postseason title 7 times in 9 seasons. and made NCAA tournament appearances in 2019, 21, and 22. Second period underway here. A rather long history and one that's respected by many coaches nationwide. Fridge, second period action here, but how important was this coaching hire for this program?
Oh, I think it was something that unfortunately had to happen just with the way things were going. But you know what? Hey, it's a brand new era for him, and I'm sure he's excited.
Buckley, a shot. Save. The rebound comes out at the legs of Droback. They're still battling for it. It's free. There's the whistle. And just like that, the Engineers lead a 2-on-1 to start the frame.
Oh, just a real good play by Buckley. As a matter of fact, that puck was just sitting there between the legs, but they forced it into him instead of pulling it back out. You're going to see another look here. Real good shot. Caught him in the shoulder. That was the forward Wallace that pulled it into the goaltending's pad.
Buckley was 8th on the Oshawa Generals last season in goals with 13, tied 7th in points. And that was a team that featured 2 top prospects in the NHL. Smith, a shot blockered away by Braveris. Smith, now to Helgeson, a shot off the pad at the goal line. Rollers battling with Helgeson. And the puck's moved up for Russell. A pinch keeps that inside the zone. Van Dam, a flutter on the clear, a shot just wide of the cage. Helgeson twirls for the pass off down center. Now Smith. A one-hand chip out for Tapper. Now Wilson, a move to the inside. He's still got it. Just nudged away. A good poke check there from Lukashevich.
Yeah, he had Rollers going to the net there.
Oh, Goffredo with the big hit on Hay there, Fridge.
Yeah, that was a real good hit in front of the bench.
Shot to the inside from Giampa. He's upended. Sliding into the boards, and it's pulled out by Bono, who gets this pass off to Tapper, chipped into the zone for the change. Bono dropped a clear interference there from Phelan, and the Engineers will have a power play again to start this second period.
Yeah, that's going to be Michael Phelan going to the box for 2 minutes. Interference. I mean, he wasn't even near the play. He was taken out, taken down, and he'll sit for 2 or less.
Yeah, they say you can get away with interference when it's not within the visual field of the officials, right? But that one was pretty clear. Around the puck, but not making contact to separate man from puck. Face-off won by the Redhawks and sent out of the zone, all the way down on Braveris, who makes the stop. 200 feet down ice, Van Dam. He'll carry, had power play responsibilities when he was at Alaska. Buckley, a shot at the left wing. The rebound popped out, went aerial. Buckley and Rollers do battle. Lindbergh keeps this in, slapped around the boards and out of the zone. Classic on. Tinling hanging at the red line. Good move to get to the inside. Dished off for Buckley. 21 with an impressive debut so far. Tinling on his forehand, it hits off a body and out of play.
Well, Tinling was going top shelf, short side on the goaltender throw back, but just off the mark and ends up going up into the netting. That power play had 4 forwards and 1 D on it for RPI.
Here's Sitar, tied up with Hay. Puck comes out to the corner, and it looks like we'll have a hook here.
Yeah, that's going to be Wallace.
So that'll nullify the Engineers power play, and we'll get some 4-on-4 action. Here's a replay. Donato draws the penalty. So Wallace will sit for 2 in the sin bin. 7:17 mark. 2 penalties to start the frame. Dan, we always talk about 4-on-4 hockey, how you practice it. But to start a season, to start the game, you're shaking the rust off. How do you approach this situation?
You just let them go out and play. I mean, it's basically man on man in the zone. Everybody's got their man, and a lot of ice out there, a lot of space, and go be creative.
Tatar up ice. Sobieski got that puck out of the zone rather hasty. Wilson for Tatar. He's rubbed out along the wall by Thompson. Out for Helgeson. A coin shoots up ice. He's familiar with ECAC hockey. He played for Harvard for a total of 4 seasons. Now we have a trip along the wall on Sobieski, and we'll have the 3rd penalty within the first 3.5 minutes here. Helgeson marches to the box.
Yeah, Helgeson's going to go for tripping. And Sobieski tried to make a move and got taken down. Now this is something I can really guarantee you that not many teams have practiced, the 4-on-3.
So a 4-on-3 here. Tatar will face off against Hay at the center dot. Tatar wins this on the backhand. It pops out to Wilson. Now Sobieski controlling with space. Tapper, bump pass. A one-timer off the pad, and it's cleared. So 20 seconds remaining on the first Redhawks penalty.
Tapper was below the dot there. That's a tough angle to be trying to score from. He's got to move back up towards the top of the circle.
Moved out to Hay. He chips this down ice. Sobieski's there like a wide receiver. Maybe more like a cornerback, picking that off. A dish off to Wilson with space. A one-timer! Tatar scores! His first goal in red. Many of those tonight. 3-1 Engineers.
Well, that was just a great feed. I think that was Sobieski that made that pass. But Tatar with the one-timer, and you can tell on that one he was above the dot, right here, from the dot. Tapper was below the dot trying to get that one-timer, and that's a tough angle to score from. This one from the dot is a little bit better, and Tatar doesn't waste any time putting that in for a 3-1 lead, RPI.
Sophomore center, played for UConn last season, transferred in. He was committed to Northern Michigan, ended up at UConn, but it made his NCAA debut last year on November 2nd because he had to serve a 7-game suspension with professional experience in the Swedish Hockey League. Face-off won back by Van Dam. Out for Lindberg. Lindberg, he finds Gaffredo, who makes a move. He dips the shoulder and gets to the inside of the ice. Sent out to Tinling. Now to Van Dam. He moves to center. Still possessing his Van Dam. He weaves and circles the top of the zone. He gets a break, a shot to the crest of Drobek, and it drops for him to glove. Well, the Engineers are mounting some positive energy here.
Yeah, and they're doing something that you have to do, and that's capitalize on your man advantage. They've done a real good job on special teams so far in the first period in the quarter.
Goals so far from Sobieski, Buckley, and now Tatar. There's going to be a lot of firsts tonight overall. We've seen plenty of them so far for both teams, respectively. Delic, a look for Stupka. That's broken up and batted down. Donato gets rubbed out. Sobieski pitches this off to Van Dam. Now Tatar, tape to tape. Down the center lane, Wallace. For Sobieski, a move to the outside. He curls at the top of the circle. Off of Stupka's face of his stick, now Tapper down low. Using his body to shield. Wallace, a chip. High off the glass, Tapper like an outfielder. Off of Wilson's skate blade and out. So Sobieski controls again. A look for Tapper. He can't get it off the boot and in. Lukashevich up the wall. Tapper with the keep. Wallace keeps this low. Tapper on the cycle. From the Augusta tees, a shot. The rebound's there. Sitar can't bury it. Here's Tapper taking the hit from Lukashevich, and it's dished out up the wall for Helgeson. Ozolin's on his horse. That'll clear the icing. 14-22 here in the second period. The Engineers scoring their third goal of the contest, 4-on-4.
Well, that was just a real good leg save pad by Drobak on Sitar. He just about had it, bringing it from his backhand to his forehand, and Drobak got the pad on it.
Here's Lindberg taking the draw against Helgeson. Lindberg wins this clean. For Tinling, a shot. He corralled it, but couldn't get that shot through Delic. Good defensive play there from 13. Bono, first man in. Heavy check on Donato on the boards. Lindberg gets the shot off, and we'll have another face-off to the right of the keeper.
Tingley's got to let that shot go real quick. He doesn't have time to really hold it, and it looked like he held it, tried to take a wrist shot, but the defender's out on him, closing that gap real quick.
So Lindberg is back to center. Bono lined up on the inside. Lemieux with some reps here. He's to the inside point. The big line is out for the Redhawks, that third line featuring men all 6'2" and above. Pass out to Smith. And a dish for Nasson. He's first man in. Curling to the outside, he keeps it low for Grimes. Grimes, a touch pass, a move to the inside, a shot from Felon. It's kept, a rebound there. Bruveris covers, madness in front of the net, and a battle ensues. Bruveris gets involved as well.
Looks like C.J. Hanovan is going to take one from each side. Alfredo's one of them.
That was a nifty play by Grimes to get that puck to the front of the net. And that scramble was the most time we've seen in front of the crease tonight. There's Jimmy Gaffredo, the junior defender from Mount Laurel, New Jersey, sitting in the box for the Engineers. And that'll bring us to break. We'll see you in a few moments, folks.
This is GE Vernova, helping generate and move the energy that our world needs. Welcome to a new era of energy.
I wasn't born a leader.
It wasn't given to me.
I couldn't buy it.
How'd I get here?
I decided.
I decided.
I decided.
I decided. Decide to lead as an Army officer.
Welcome back to ECAC hockey here on SNY. Chip out from the Engineers, all the way down for Drobak to play. Thompson carries. Left hand. Off to Giampa with some room to operate. Power play here for the Miami Redhawks. Plenty of time, 1:40 on the clock at the moment. Here's Thompson at the top of the key. Out for Delic. Down low for Giampa. Tic-tac, shot. Save Bruveris. Sitar clears.
My apologies before we went to break. I thought it was going to be a player from each side, but only Goffredo
is going to be in the box. I thought Hannafin had pointed to two guys.
Left back for Delic, inside, outside shot, he scores! A speedy power play goal for Delic, 3-2.
Well, he just went right down Broadway with that puck and attacked the net, and it looked like he threw it underneath the glove hand of Bruveris. There's another look at it. Yep, beat him on the glove side. Just a real nice rush and a real nice finish by Delic.
We've been treated to some goal scorers' goals tonight, Dan.
Certainly. And we're only halfway through the game. Not even yet.
I'm sure Anthony Noreen and Eric Lang want that cleaned up. First game of the year, playing loose. Here's Smith. Lukashevich there to pin McNeil. On his backhand, out to the point. A step into the shot. Just to the side of the net, off the keeper's skate at the outside of the crease. And it's chipped out. Smith takes some contact from McNeil. Heavy line out for the Engineers. Hey, a backhand all the way around for Lukashevich. Walking the line for Smith. It pops back out. Gordon had a step, but the puck was still aerial. Some contact from McNeil at the sidewall. Little battle as both players go for the change. Drobak stops this puck and lays it off, but it's cut away by the Engineers. Just beyond the reach of McEwen. He battles Tinling. Puck up off the glass. Sent for Lindbergh. Out for Classic, who's got an apple tonight. Tinling. An attempt on the backhand, it's cut away. Another attempt to keep by Lindbergh. He chases as Nasson gains his own offsides with Stupka. Bridge, who have you been most impressed by thus far?
Boy, there's a couple of them. Even from last weekend's game. I like Sobieski's game back there on D. It looks like he's got some offense to him as well as a good, solid defensive player. And I've taken a liking to Matthew Buckley.
Very uniform play so far from the team, considering there's 19 new players to the program. A backhand dish in from Nassan. Van Dam can't get all the wood on it. It's out for Tapper. That long reach, he's able to possess. Now Roller's on the open puck. A pass out in front, off a boot on net. Behind the cage, Nassan out for Grimes. An aerial. Van Dam takes a massive hit from Grimes. And it's a hand pass, so that'll stop play.
That was a hello. Good introduction by Grimes on Van Dam.
There's Van Dam there. He's still on the ice, took a heavy hit. As you see Wilson coming off, he's got 2 assists tonight. Jaeger Tapper picking up where he left off last season with strong offensive play. Morozov, who scored the first goal of the night for the Redhawks on the faceoff. Chipped all the way down ice, Buckley on it, Drobak forced to play. A clear attempt hits off Wallace and remains in the zone. Now Delic curls for the pass, it's picked off, here's Sitar. Good play by Wallace. Wallace's shot off the pad and into the netting. Another stoppage. Quick play up and down ice, a lot of north-south. See Redhawks coach Anthony Noreen on the bench right there in the middle. Talked about how much respect his staff has for Eric Lang and the hire and how excited they were to come to this building this evening. 2-game set. We'll also be playing here tomorrow on ESPN+. Here's Smith. Nice move and backhand just off the mark. Flashes of brilliance from 14 tonight. Lukashevich left off for Quinn. He dumps this down low. Hayes there. He's tied up by Russell.
Looked like that short side might have been open as well.
Wallace, a chip off the glass is kept. Now Quinn, off for Lukashevich. A pass, he didn't have enough on it to take the shot. Smith to the inside again. His skill prevailing, dumped down low. Sitar, another clear attempt is kept. Third by the Engineers on this possession. Now Sitar, out for Wallace on the backhand on goal. Throwback stops this for Quinn. A stretch, opposite blue line. Off for Nissan. A pass across is cut off. Heads up play by Mata. Shot off the blocker and out. And Bruveris loses his stick. Chaos ensues. Fell in a shot. Wide. Now McEwen sets up a shot. Looking for a stick. It's wide. Nissan takes some contact. O'Zolins. A pass up ice for Mata. It's at his skates. He couldn't read it. Again back for Classic. Now O'Zolins. He takes contact but clears successfully. Gordon a shot wide. There's Mata still on with this new line. Classic and Gordon doing battle with Stupka. Nissan out for the 2-on-1. Bono on a hard back check. A shot from Grimes and a good save. Grimes out to Delic for Felon. Traffic in front. Bono with a good check. Mata clears. Thompson on his horse to retrieve.
Bruveris has made a couple of real key saves here late.
Some confusion as Mata comes to the bench. Now Giampa, wide open man, they score! And that's Ilya Morozov again, his second of the contest. An absolute dart to tie this game up.
Well, that's a goal scorer's goal. I mean, he waited for Bruveris to come across. He came across and he was really, really low. He had that top shelf wide open. Unfortunately, Classic couldn't get over to it. But you're going to see right here, Bruveris just down low, leaving the top shelf open. And that's when the goal scorer, Morozov, put it in.
So off a 2-on-1 created in the neutral zone. Some confusion at the bench. And the game's all knotted up after the Engineers took a 3-1 lead here in the second. Still 8 minutes of action to play. Delic dumped down low, offside. 6 goals in the contest so far. Last 10 matchups date as far back as the early 2000s. But the most recent series was last year. The Engineers won out in Ohio. They played in 2015-16, but then not again until last year. And the 2 victories were 1-goal margins, a 3-2 overtime win and a 2-1 victory. Taking some time here as the Redhawks deploy personnel for this situation. It's Stupka, Hay, Lukashevich, McEwen. McEwen plays off for Lukashevich. Now Wilson. For Sitar. Now Sobieski. Tapper. Out to the point. Tapper with a move. Shakes and bakes. Down low for Wallace. It's at his feet. Couldn't handle it. A pass for Sitar. Last-ditch effort from Stupka. Now Wilson. Tries to work around Lukashevich. Big body on big body. Sitar. Fending off Hay. Now Wallace. Around for Wilson. Too far for him and out of the zone. Chipped around for Wallace. Now Wilson. For Sobieski. Down low. Pass across. Here's Tapper. Sent all the way down for Sobieski, who collects. Now Wilson with the hand-eye. Good move to keep that puck within his grasp and off his stick out of play. So a flurry of attempts here by the Engineers. Classic, Buckley, Lindbergh, Rollers, Tinling on the ice now.
I'm kind of confused because I didn't see anybody in the box. Miami was playing with 4 players on the ice, and I didn't see any clock for them being shorthanded.
No clock. I don't think there was a player in the box, but it was 5-on-4.
Yeah, I know.
There was no in-arena announcement.
So it was a penalty for too many players on the ice. But there was nobody in the box, and there wasn't any time up. So I'm like, wait a second, is Miami playing one man short and they don't know it? No, they can't.
I figured there'd be some yelling that we'd hear from up here. But now everything registers, and we'll have to see how that happened, if there was some confusion on the ice or...
Well, I was confused. I was going to say, why does Miami only have 4 guys on the ice? There's no time on a penalty, and there's no Miami player in the box. But I've seen things before. Actually, I think I counted 4 times going, nope, there's only 4.
And so it's a 2-minute minor for too many men. There's 42 seconds left on the clock. Glove save by Droback. So it wasn't announced. There was no player in the box.
And they played like that for 1 minute and 16 seconds.
Sorry for the misinformation, folks. Didn't know what was going on here in the arena, albeit it was 5-on-4. Now Classic controls the Klagenfurt native. Another player from Austria in that European pipeline that RPI has. Rollers off to Tinling. Tinling for Lindbergh, he just couldn't pull the trigger. Delic now with a head of steam chasing Classic. Classic using his body to nullify Delic. He'll go for the change. Rollers carries up ice. Lindbergh to the inside. He weaves. A look to get it deeper. It's picked off and sent back out. Good play by Thompson. Now Helgeson, 2-on-1. Giappa shot. Save, Bruveris. Oh, what a save from 33.
Oh, the official would have had an assist on that because he got in the way, which led to that 2-on-1.
And another here. Giappa with Hay. Giappa slows it down. A shot. Blocker save, Bruveris.
RPI's only had 4 guys. Now they got...
Now a shot. Helgeson scores. Well, someone lit a match. It is an absolute barn burner. 4-3. Helgeson taking the lead for the Redhawks.
That was just a... RPI, I think, got caught in a bad change. At one point, there was only 2 guys on the ice. Then 2 guys jumped on. The puck's in the RPI zone. And then just as the goal's getting scored, the 5th guy jumped on the ice. And there he comes pretty late. But it was too late because Helgeson finishes that off. And Miami's gone up 4-3 here.
And 2 great saves from the goalkeeper to keep that game tied. Wilson with the block, and he'll chase it down. It's in his possession. Out to the point. Van Dam off for Sobieski. A shot through traffic. It's off the body and out. Rich, can you believe there's still 5 minutes left in this period?
It's been a strange one.
So both teams are headed to their respective benches at the moment, and we'll have our TV timeout. We'll be with you in a moment here on SNY. Welcome back here to SNY. 5:25 on the clock here in the second period. 4-3, Miami leading RPI. Many goals scored galore here in the second period. The Redhawks just took the 4-3 lead. RPI had a 3-1 lead to start the frame. Rollers wins this face-off forward for Wilson. Wilson on it. He boxes out Thompson, putting on some Crosby-like moves down low. Helgeson, a backhand dish between his legs. Wilson's there on the forecheck. Rollers as well, pins this up along the wall. Wilson sent all the way around for Van Dam. He wands this with the backhand. Wilson, a pass, look for Tapper on the backhand, he couldn't possess. Taken by Hay, turnstiled for Thompson. He's into open space. Now Tapper, cutting off Helgeson. Here's Van Dam, a play to himself along the wall. Good carry. Around the net, he's got a man. Sobieski wound up, but they couldn't connect. Van Dam curls to center, out for Tapper. One hand on the stick, now two. Sobieski. For Tapper, a one-time shot high and wide. Out of the zone, over the stick of Wallace, and back over his own blue line for the regroup. Change for the Redhawks.
That's the second time Tapper's taken a one-timer from that side and missed the net. Got to set the sights on that trigger of his.
Strong forecheck from the kid Morozov. Moscow Russian native, youngest player in the NCAA. He's got 2 goals tonight. Wallace's shot, glove down by Drobak. Well, that's certainly a story within itself. A lot of the eligibility that's been discussed is about the CHL players coming into NCAA hockey, but we've seen tonight alone on this ice, 3 international players are eligible because of that rule.
That's right, and there are some players that played in the East Coast Hockey League, which is considered professional as you get paid for it.
Giampa, a spinorama move and look, but it's broken up. Delic, the recipient of that. Now McEwen a shot through the screen and wide. Giampa carries at the hashes. A backhand dish up top for Thompson. Now McEwen. A shot wide, flutters. Puck off its edge. Pass across. Broken up by Buckley. Now Sitar in with some support. Ozolins for Goffredo, the headman. At the goal line, a chip off the glass and out. Over the stick of McEwen, Buckley's boxed. And he heads to the bench. Redhawks with a wave of possession here as Delic chases Ozolins. 2 on, he's still got possession. Delic composed around the boards for Lukashevich. Here's Stupka. An errant pass across, Lindbergh takes off. Off the stick of Classic, a move to the inside. Apologies, folks, that's Bono, but it's offsides.
That was Lindbergh that got in just a little too quickly.
Then we were talking about those players that were eligible to play before action picked up. You mentioned ECHL. Some of them do have pro experience. Swedish League. Some players on this team from Austria, Slovenia, playing national contest in the IIHF. It's certainly a different world than when you were behind the bench.
No question. Well, think of this. There's 40 new players between these two teams from last year.
Sobieski out in front. Nissan breaks that up, but it's kept. Good play by Van Dam. Now Bono controlling in the corner, evading a check. Out to Nissan. Over the stick of Grimes. Now Van Dam with the poke check. He keeps at his blue line, battling just to keep it within his grasp. Moved over to Sobieski. Off the stick of Bono for the clear dump. Drobak plays this off, and it's sent all the way up ice. That was a coin with the puck. On the breakout, Helgeson, 1-on-3. Gordon with some speed, a good dish off for Russell. Off the stick of Mata. Stiff, hard check here in the corner from Gordon. Now McNeil. Over the blue line, it's deep. Now Gordon looking for the keep. It's off his stick out to Hay. Now Helgeson, one-on-one, gets to the inside. In between the legs, and a trip play here from Russell. He got in the skates of Smith, and he'll draw another penalty with 1:34 remaining in this period.
It'll be a big kill here for RPI. Here's another look at it. He tried the old dangle through the legs with the puck, and the stick got caught up. Russell's stick got caught up in his feet. But getting back to my point before that penalty, 40 new players between these two programs. 21 for Miami. That means that if you've got a 28-man roster, right, that means that 7 players returned. I remember back in the day, you had your players, you had your team for 4 years.
Now the transfer portal is like free agency. Thompson is shot off a body in front and down. They keep possession. Thompson over for Delic. Broken up by Wallace. He wands the stick as he falls to the ice. O'Zolan's tracking his man behind the net. That's Grimes. Grimes checked off the puck. Kept by Thompson with the outfielder glove. Thompson trickles off his stick and over the blue line out of the zone. Goffredo sauces this down ice on edge. Thompson has to pick up. 48 seconds remaining in the frame. Power play at 1:12. Thompson for Delic with speed. Delic flying down center. Sent for Van Dam. We'll chip this out. Quinn bats it. A curl and drag, look for Grimes, and it's broken up again by the Engineers. Droback forced to glove. Out for Quinn behind the cage, 21 seconds. Down center, Smith, the toe drag move, he's checked off the puck, and the puck sent out. Classic and Sobieski, the defenders here for the Engineers. Good play from the rear guards. Hey, a shot into the glove and batted down. With 1 second on the clock, we'll have one more face-off to conclude this second period that's been full of action. Drobak to the bench for the extra attacker. Looks like they'll go to a drawn-up play here, Fridge.
Yeah, well, usually 3 seconds or less. They say that you can't send it the length of the ice. However, I have seen it done. Union did it to Colgate one year.
Stranger things have happened here in the ECAC. One back, a shot to the chest of Braveris. And they did get the shot off. Nasen with the final attack of the period.
I got to tell you, that seemed like it was a lot longer than 1 second.
Certainly. And this period's felt a lot longer than 1 second, felt a lot longer than 20 minutes. The score now 4-3. We'll have Kazimir Sobieski with us in a moment. He scored his first career goal in the first period. He's been power play quarterback and a stalwart rear guard so far in his debut. Still waiting for another moment, folks. Stick with us here.
You know, along those lines about players changing, coaches have changed as well.
Thanks for joining us, Kazimir. Congratulations on your first career goal. What are you guys looking to do into the third period?
I think we're just trying to get back to our game. We came out really strong in the first, got away from playing our game and, you know, finishing our hits, and that's what we got to get back to.
How's the transition been for you? I watched you last weekend. Looked like you could have had one there against BU, but you got one tonight and got a helper as well. But how's the transition been for you into school and now with the hockey going?
Yeah, it's definitely been good. All the guys have made it a lot easier. The coaching staff's made it easy. You know, really couldn't have done it without them. And yeah, we'll just keep going here.
Thanks for joining us, Kazimir.
Thank you.
Young rear guard with his first career goal. Score 4-3 for the Miami Redhawks, who mounted a 3-1 comeback in that frame alone. We'll be back in a moment here on SNY. Stick with us, folks. Fridge, what games stick out to you, whether that's out of conference or within the ECAC?
Well, the fact that they got BC coming up, Providence coming up, Minnesota State for a couple, then Union for a couple. So this schedule isn't going to get any easier, and a lot of good tests right there as far as the schedule is concerned.
Yeah, they have a few of those circled. University of New Hampshire, UMass Lowell, Cornell, who won the ECAC last season on November 22nd, Quinnipiac on December 5th. Those are some that stand out outside of the conference slate. Boston College and Providence boasting some NHL prospect talent coming up soon.
Yeah, they also got the University of New Hampshire in there, and they ended up beating Michigan State last night on a late goal. So a lot of good competition that's going to be coming, a lot of good tests for RPI to get their game in order for league play.
And here's the weekend schedule and outlook for RPI athletics overall. Golf at Skidmore for the Fall Invitational. Field hockey up at St. Lawrence University. Football is against Buffalo State. That's reunion and homecoming at 1 o'clock. That's at RPI TV, our production crew here on their YouTube page. Women's ice hockey's on the road at Northeastern. Ithaca women's soccer, 2 o'clock against Ithaca College. This is all tomorrow, folks. RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology. That's where the men's and women's swim and dive team will be. Men's soccer against Ithaca as well. And tomorrow night, Fridge and I will be on ESPN Plus for Miami University. Again, we'll see if we get as good of a contest as we've gotten so far tonight.
Oh, I'm sure we will, but that is a good slate of RPI athletics there. And a lot going on and a lot to be, if you're an RPI fan, whether it's swimming, golf, whatever, you'll have a lot to keep you busy with tomorrow.
And so here's some highlights from the first and second frame. Here's the first goal. Morozov, his first NCAA goal. Youngest player in college hockey with a dart.
Well, that was just a great shot. He puts it back to where the goaltender was coming from and beats him. And then RPI ties it up with a nice low shot to the far side.
Dobieski and Buckley with those two highlight goals. There's 21 Buckley, former Oshawa General. Here's a look at
that
a
was
few
the one
of
that
the saves here.
Just missed by Rollers. One underneath his stick. And then the one-timer there by, I think that was Tapper?
Sitar, number 49.
Yeah, that's it.
Transfer from UConn. And he had another good look there.
Yeah, that's when the goaltender just got his pad on it with the open net.
Then it was the Brevera show. Playing against his former team, he made a number of outstanding saves in the middle frame alone. Here was a little bit of that physical aftermath from one of those stops.
I see why Goffredo ended up in the penalty box. That was a 2-point takedown there.
Delic said, I'm here too. Let's cut this 3-1 lead down, and made it 3-2 off the rush on the power play.
Yeah, Breveris was just a little bit off his angle there.
That shot tied the game up. Giampa with another shot and a save, but that didn't last too long after that save. They were able to find the back of the net on the ensuing play. Helgeson taking the lead.
Yeah, well, that just, I think, got between his catching glove and his body, and right now you're looking at a Miami lead by 1 with 4-3 going into the third.
4-3 going into this third period. We'll be back in 4 minutes, folks. Stick with us here on SNY. Welcome back to ECAC Hockey on SNY. Third period action here between the RPI Engineers and the Miami, Ohio Redhawks at the Houston Fieldhouse. It's been a bonanza tonight. 4-3 scores so far. A lot of fantastic, bombastic goals scored. Sobieski with his first as an Engineer, Buckley as well. Sitar is first since transferring over. Luke Wilson, 2 assists. On the other side, Delica goal. Murazov, the youngest player in NCAA hockey with 2 to his name. His first 2 career college goals. Helgeson a goal as well. Giampa with 2 assists. And Fridge, boy oh boy, has it been exciting.
Certainly has, and it'll be interesting to see what we'll be in store for here for the next 20 minutes. And I got some out-of-town scores. Alaska ended up beating Quinnipiac 2-1 in that icebreaker.
Ooh, our favorite segment here, folks, the out-of-town scores.
Yes, Union is up 3-1 on Mercyhurst with 14 minutes left in the third. BU's up 4-1 on Colgate, starting the third period. Penn State's up 3-2 on Clarkson with 16 minutes left in the third period. And they're scoreless over in Burlington, Vermont, St. Lawrence in Vermont, 0-0 starting the third period.
And so Clarkson is really making Penn State, inarguably the favorite to win the national championship, look a little more human this weekend. Third period kicking off here at the Fieldhouse as the Redhawks maintain possession off the opening draw. Pass out to Giampa. Still 11 seconds left on the power play. Puck sent way into the bench.
I'm just laughing at those coaches started dancing when that puck was shot into the bench area, as I got a very good look at it, and some interesting choreographic moves.
Not unlike we just saw from Puckman.
Yeah, to make sure that they didn't get hit with that puck.
There's University President Dr. Marty Schmidt. He always draws cheers from the crowd, the best type of cheers too, positive cheers here, Dan.
Definitely, definitely. Big hockey fan and huge supporter of this program.
This is upstate New York, positive cheers, not Bronx cheers, although the folks tuning in from SNY might be from the city. Now Quinn. With some space, he'll take that ice in front of him and dump this in. Out for Delic. Delic brought down by Van Dam, no call. Tinling. Off the boards, a miss pass to Bono. Lukashevich picks up. Check from Bono along the wall. Now Giampa with speed up ice at the goal line. He'll pump the brakes. Backhand dish for Murazov. Down on the ice, play made by Classic. Lindbergh off his hip over the blue line. That'll be called for offsides. You know, a player we didn't touch upon yet, Fridge, is Wilson. Junior forward, he transferred in from Minnesota State. Big body, left shot. In his NCAA career, he has 39 points to his name in 89 games played. He centered Minnesota State's third line, and that was a team that won the CCHA Mason Cup championship.
Yeah, he's got some winning pedigree behind him, and it's not surprising why Coach Lang brought him here to Troy, New York.
They lost in the NCAA tournament in double overtime to the eventual national champion Western Michigan last year. So, as you mentioned, some great winning pedigree coming into the program. Wilson, number 93. Rollers down to Wilson. Wilson pass across a one-timer. Oh, what a save, draw back. Now let's go Fredo jumping into the play.
Yes, that was a real good setup there.
O'Zolins sweeps this to Wilson. Wilson, cross ice for Tapper. Broken up by McEwen. McEwen, dish for Smith. Toe drag shot off the pad. Rebound was there. Rollers clears. McEwen again initiating contact with Gafredo. O'Zolins. Down the left corridor is Wilson. A man steps up, forcing him to dump it. And that was Helgeson who broke the tie late in the second frame. 17 flying down center, a backhand dish all the way into the stands, almost landed in someone's popcorn. Checking if the man's all right. All good. Luckily, there has been a raucous crowd in here tonight as the Energies return to the building after the way last season finished.
Well, RPI's got 17 minutes here to turn this one around. Just down 1 goal, 1 shot.
Mata wins this back for Sobieski. Now to Mata. Mata, a skater who transferred in 2 seasons ago. He played defense early in his college career, now a forward. An injury forced him to change positions. Gordon with a massive check on Lukashevich. McNeil takes a check as the puck goes into the boards and out of play again. 4-3 score. Close game, up and down ice. You expect to see things tighten up here?
I think from Miami's perspective, and the longer this goes on with RPI trailing by 1, they're going to have to open it up a little bit.
Talking to Coach Anthony Noreen, he's won at many levels. Last season, just 3 games. Dragging a shot to the inside of the ice. You mentioned how this year's about culture. Seems like that's a similarity between both programs, just building the culture back. But you'll take a win on the road if you can. You swept last weekend. They're going for their 3rd win this season.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they won all last year. I mean, you have to go through some growing pains. And a kind of similar situation here with Coach Lang. He's going to observe this year to see what they really need. Good year to take a look at things and lay the foundation to build a winning program on, and was similar to what happened last year with Miami. Hence bringing in 21 new guys.
21 new players. Here's 21 Matthew Buckley on the forecheck. Alford Classic. Buckley with the puck at his skates. He loses it, and it's picked up by Delic. A sauce off the boards for Mrazov. He's hounded at the blue line. Now picked up by Delic. Into the zone, cutting to the inside. Giampa, now Delic just out of his reach. He split up the Royal Road there down center of Bruveris, but he couldn't pull the trigger. McEwen finds Delic again. He's been all over the ice for the Redhawks. Outside step. Shot from Grimes into the block. Buckley with a defensive play.
Giampa gave that puck back to Delic earlier. I don't think Delic was expecting that puck back.
Talked about culture moments ago. RPI picked 11th in the head coach's preseason poll this season for the ECAC. McEwen in a jersey. It got all knotted up. Here's Bono. A look for Buckley and a turnover. Phelan. A pass across is broken up by Russell, the experienced graduate from Michigan Tech. Nassen to the backhand. He's rubbed out behind the play. Now Bono. For Tinling, a touch pass for Lindberg. Lindberg one-on-one. Now Bono, a shot off the post and out. O'Zolins for Lemieux, a shot from the tees. It's gloved down. Off the glass, Lemieux keeps again. Here's Lindberg. Galloping at the wall. Now Lemieux shifts down, a pass in front, look for Bono. Tinling, stick tied up, he breaks free. Circling at the point on his backhand, a 1-T dish into the wickets and a save from Droback.
Oh, just a great shot there by Bono. Off the crossbar, it looks like. Look at that. Oh, what a beautiful.
2 guys streaking in.
Yeah, nice feed, nice shot. Just to button up your point there about RPI picked 11th in the 12-team ECAC. Miami was picked 9th to finish 9th in their NCHC preseason poll out of 9 teams.
They flew here today out of Dayton. I believe they normally fly out of Cincinnati, so a little bit different for their program. But NCHC opponents, they have to fly all over just within their conference. So travel's part of the package, and that hasn't been a problem for those teams in recruiting, which is a positive for those programs. Arizona State just joining last season. They played Penn State to open their slate this year. Drobak loses the puck off the boards. Here's Tapper, swirled around by his stick. Now Wilson, a touch pass for Sobieski. A sidestep. He carries around the cage. He's looking on the Mohawk turn, a pass into the feet of Smith. He finds Helgeson, and he'll get this out for the change. Tired group. Sobieski leaves this for Van Dam. He'll remain as an option. Van Dam using the net to evade the forecheck. He motors in on the dump. It dies off the end boards. Gordon into some skates. A pass out to McNeil. Puck flutters near the cage, but no one was there to pick it up. Now for Gordon on the backhand. He tries to corral it. Off to Russell. Sent down low again for Gordon. Just past his reach. Classic steps into the play. Dumped around the boards. And it's kept to the outside of the zone. A backhand to the ceiling. Classic gloves it down. Passes this off for Mata with some time. Over the red line. McNeil first man in. So a change here. Out for Buckley, it's off his stick and out of the zone. Now Sitar off his stick, feeling in. Buckley on the forecheck. Buckley, an Oshawa Generals teammate with Callum Ritchie, a top prospect in the Islanders system. I know we have some folks from the city tuning in. Shot blocked out of play by Drobak, and we'll have a stoppage here.
This is GE Vernova, helping generate and move the energy that our world needs. Welcome to a new era of energy.
I wasn't born a leader.
It wasn't given to me.
I couldn't buy it.
How'd I get here?
I decided.
I decided.
I decided.
I decided. Decide to lead as an Army officer.
Welcome back to SNY. Third period action here. Miami versus RPI. Redhawks leading 4-3 with 12:43 remaining in this third period. Wallace at center. One of the veteran transfers for the Engineers. Winning it back to O'Zolins. A shot into the block. Puck comes out to the side of the net and moved away. Now Felon on the backhand. There's two bodies there to intercept. He has to move this to his partner. Up the wall, here's Grimes. With some speed, he's checked off the puck. Now Sitar, sidestepping. A look, but Stupka was there. Lucky fan coming up with that one. Another stoppage here. After our commercial break, you saw RPI TV on the commercial. They are the staff that's producing this, all student volunteers that are involved with the production here. They've done a great job all week to bring us this game tonight. Working every game here at RPI all season. Now off to Van Dam. High off the glass, it stays in the rink. Lukashevich down center, it's picked off by Van Dam. Heavy check there from Mrazov. Not only is he adapting to NCAA hockey, he's from Russia. Pass out from Van Dam, a shot off the pad, squeaking out in front again. Morozov lays this off for Delic with speed against Lindbergh. He wins the battle, but gets all the way down ice. No room to operate. Lindbergh at the blue line, he curls to buy some time. Van Dam, a dump on the cage, Stroback off the pad, too far for him, but there was no threat. Rollers Tapper back out with Wilson. Classic whips this around for Wilson. Helgeson in classic battle. Classic wins Tapper out to the neutral zone. Smith sends this back for Aucoin. Aucoin was on that team. He played a buck and change of games with Matthew Coronado's ECAC overtime goal in Lake Placid against Quinnipiac in 21-22. Here's Russell. Tapper, a dish off the wall, but no one was there at center. Past Russell at the feet of Braveris, and Dan, Braveris has put on quite the performance against his former team tonight.
Yeah, he's played very, very well. And, you know, hopefully he can just shut the door here and RPI can generate some offense.
A little more choppy play in this third period than we saw in the second frame. A lot of stoppages. Looks like they're not connecting as much.
Yeah, I mean, they aren't as precise as they have been as far as passing, going both ways, actually.
Here's Stupka against Gordon. Sent in by Lemieux. A wobbling puck comes to the feet of Aucoin. Out for Grimes. Here's Stupka. Checked hard into the boards by Mata. Now Lemieux on his horse. High off the glass and out. McNeil bats this down. Gordon with a jump. Making contact face to face. Here's Mata on goal. It's sticked away and out of play. Off the ramp of the goaltender stick.
Yeah, Mata's got to get that more to the slot area. That's where the two guys are coming out of the corner, getting to the slot. Hopefully there might be a redirect, but he just tried to throw it short side off the goaltender stick and up into the netting. Be a perfect time for a face-off execution.
And an offensive zone draw, that second line for the Engineers. Wallace, Sitar, and Buckley out. One back. At the line, it's picked up with one hand. Sobieski, a shot into the block. Another rebound comes out. Buckley, another shot wide by Sitar. They get 3 off on that possession, and it's out. Sobieski with one on. Calm, cool, and collected. And now it's taken away. Dip of the shoulder into the glove. That was Morozov. He's looking for number 3. I don't think we'd be doing him justice by saying the word, but he's had a few chances. Definitely more quiet as the game has gone on, but I've been very impressed with 18 tonight.
Yeah, Wallace is definitely a solid player. Grinds it out along the boards, likes to win those one-on-one battles, plays a heavy type game. Certainly somebody you need in the lineup to get something going offensively.
One back on a set play. Smith. Pass across to look for Helgeson. He couldn't get the stick down. Helgeson. Side of the net. A backhand off the pad. Rebound in front. It's boxed. Here's Russell. Lofted way up to the scoreboard. Now at Lindbergh's feet. He chops away at it at the sidewall. Carried down the flank. Out in front. It's tipped by Bono. In front for Tinling, and he can't get the stick involved there. Aucoin wrapped him up. Good play there from Aucoin. A cage fight ensued in the corner. Tinling comes out with it. O'Zolins for Classic. A shot looking far right corner. Chipped out. Unsuccessful. Here's Thompson for Aucoin. He recognizes some time here. Thompson controlling on the forehand. Tipped into the zone by Nassin. And a flub on the clear. That was Lemieux, first-year defender for the Engineers. He ends up with the puck at the red line. Dumped in, and he's the first man. Tapper into support. Going forecheck, but Miami's back at it. O'Zolan's over his own blue line. Some low-quality zone entrances here from the Engineers. Tapper. Off his stick, Wilson can't possess. Out to center, Rollers, it's by him. The Redhawks' speed is killing, 3-on-2. Nassin tries to get involved, but it's past him. Rollers at the sidewall. Van Dam chipped. Flashes of Will Gilson here. Now Quinnipiac Bobcat, former number 8, down center. Wilson is shot. Oh, what a save by Droback.
I don't know if that was Droback or if that hit the defender. It looked like Wilson took a little too long to get that shot off.
Giampa with the shot. He's got to evade Van Dam. Clearing him. A good attempt by the Redhawks again off the rush. Now Giampa has another step and he's free. Down center, Delica shot to the chest of Braveris and a stoppage of play. The Engineers the last few minutes have not been able to catch a breath.
Good save by Braveris. You know, the one thing I've noticed about Braveris is that he's a butterfly goaltender, but he gets way down in his crouch. And it looks like he's smaller than he is. Being a 6'1" goaltender, you'd like him to be a little more upright. He's been certainly solid tonight for the Engineers.
So 4-3 score at the moment. 7 minutes remaining. The Engineers on their heels at the 1-goal deficit. They were leading 3-1 and riding some sky-high play through the second frame. Unraveled a little bit at the end there. They gave up a goal to Helgeson. None scored in this period. And Lukashevich just couldn't hold that in his zone. Offside. We'll have a neutral zone draw. Rivera standing tall against his former team. A lot of newcomers on both sides of the puck. 21 newcomers for Miami, 19 for the Engineers. Completely different teams, completely altering the trajectory of their programs. Big statement win tonight for either team, although Miami comes off a sweep of Ferris State at home last weekend. First game of the season for the Engineers. Moving out of the zone is Sitar. Classic a shot. Off the glove it seemed, or just past the keeper, and they keep it in the zone. All for Classic. One touch for Russell. A sidestep to empty space. There's Buckley, a chop. He keeps it in the zone. Classic a shot into the glove. Good read from Droback.
Well, that's a 3-on-2 that RPI's got to put that puck on the net. At least you got a forward driving the net to back the D up. Shot on goal might create a juicy rebound, and unfortunately Classic just shot a little wide.
Good keep there from Buckley. One hand. Some luck on his side as they got the shot on net, and a face-off here. Tinling bodied off. One of the leaders in face-off wins last season in the ECAC. Giampa had a jump, but Van Dam was there to break it up.
Good play there by Sobieski. Yes, he was looking for that home run pass. That was Giampa.
Now Van Dam for Bono. You can't weave around a defender. Giampa now on a 2-on-1 with Delic. Delic saucer to his skates, a shot. Oh, he tried to chip it, and it just went by. And 13 has been all over the ice for Miami tonight. Tinling a dump in around the boards. It's Wilson on the weak side. A coin to the stick of Grimes. Good out on the first pass. Hard check by Gaffredo. He rubs out Grimes. Stupka over his stick. A rainbow. Tapper. Back for O'Zolins to the skates of Wilson. Wilson, a backhand dish off for Gaffredo. O'Zolins mishandles. Now a passing catch, man on, Stupka and Grimes. Oh, they collect this off a mistake at the top of the circles, and now it's a 2-on-2 the opposite way. Tapper on the back check. Grimes rubbed out, takes arms to the chest. Good move in the corner. Ozolins picks up. Out to Wilson. 4:53 on the clock. Ozolins. A shot around the boards with Gordon in as the first forechecker. Helgeson. A shot high off the glove. Would have been to the mask of Riveras and a stoppage. Seems like some energy has left the building here, Dan.
Yeah, RPI's got to get something going, generate some scoring opportunities, and the way you get that, you get the puck deep and get on the forecheck.
So 2 power play goals open the game. We're going to break here. Folks, we'll be back in a few moments here. ECAC Hockey on SNY. Welcome back to ECAC Hockey on SNY. There's Puckman doing a little dance for the crowd, trying to get the fans in attendance back in this one. Some kids there as well. Matthew Mugno here with Dan Fridge and Fridge. It's been a good contest so far. No goals in this third period. We saw 2 on the power play to start the game, a third later off the stick of Delic, and a few even strength goals as well off the rush. Helgeson scored the 4th goal at the end of the second frame. As Smith possesses here, Miami is looking to defend this lead and start the season 3-0. A chip off the glass hits an official, and it's back into the Engineers' defensive end. Out for Wallace. Off for Sitar. He picks up. Sitar on his backhand. Scurries around the cage. Trying to feather this down low. It's picked off by Felon. At the blue line, it's capped off a body. Felon, a flub to the opposite blue line. And it's picked up by Wallace. Out for Classic. A dish off for Sobieski. Behind him, he's still able to get this deep and into the zone, out of harm's way. Wilson tries to bat this down. Here's Sitar, upended. And this leads to another 2-on-1 attempt, but it's knocked off sides. That was Delic and Giampa again. They've been masterful creating that break.
Well, when I first looked at the Miami team coming up for warm-up, first thing I thought of was the Hartford Crimson. They've got similar jerseys as Harvard.
Yeah, maybe that's why Kyle Aucoin decided to come here for his last year of eligibility, the graduate former Harvard Crimson. Kind of at the end of those peak years for Harvard, where they were involved with the ECAC championship a number of times. He was part of those teams. Lost to Colgate, won against Quinnipiac in 21-22. Ted Donato behind that bench. He's had some fantastic players come through the program in recent years, and they continue to pump out players. Coronado, Abruzzese. Some of those namely guys in recent time, Adam Fox.
Yeah, I think they're looking to get back to the top of the ECAC.
Now they feature a defense with Lucas St. Louis, Marty St. Louis' son. Some really good talent up front. We saw Thompson score 2 goals when he came here last season. Now Russell, dump back for Van Dam. Chipped out, a look for Tapper, it's over his stick. As some of that, said the word best, Fridge, precision hasn't been present here in this third period. We saw it earlier in the game. Rollers, a dish off for Van Dam, hard pass off the opposite wall, and it's picked up by Miami. Now Wilson, weaving in and out of his zone with some free space. 93 over the blue line. Another chip in play for himself. Donato runs him out. Down center, past Tapper. Now Grimes. We're getting to that witching hour. Rivera's not looking at his bench yet. 2:36. Out for Grimes, a shot off is sticking out. So that'll force the Engineers in their own end.
A good job there by the defender getting a stick on that. Last thing RPI needs to do right now is give one up. I'm sure Coach Lang is thinking about when does the goaltender Rivera's come out. I was watching BU and he got around the 2:15 mark when he pulled his goaltender. Not overly aggressive with a 1-goal deficit.
Not pulling the Rand Pecknold 4-minute mark. Yank of the keeper situation for the extra attacker, but they do possess. Lemieux just over the blue line. 2:16 at the moment. Just like that, time is the enemy. A pass off, Bono sticking into the zone. Rivera's is to the bench. 2:06 on the clock. Battle down low. Rollers hops over the boards. He'll keep off the stick of Wallace. Sobieski a shot through traffic and it's gloved. He snared it up with the leather.
Yeah, he saw that all the way in. You could tell Rollers was in front of the net, but not taking the eyes away. And I'm sure there's going to be a timeout taken right now by Coach Lang. Some of those RPI guys have their sticks on their knees.
Here's another look at that shot from Sobieski. But got a goal to his name tonight. No timeout. Shot off a block. It bounces back to Wilson. Down low at the seam was Tapper. We've seen him score from there before. He still possesses. Sauced into open space. Wilson. Not a lot of muster on that. Sitar winds up. Pass into some traffic. Sent down ice, but it hit off a stick. Good defense on the offensive side of the puck for RPI. Tapper trying to evade Giampa.
That was Wilson trying to force that pass across. You don't want to force things. You want to get the puck moving, open up seams, and then make those plays.
Puck all the way down ice. Here's Delic on his horse to the empty net. He scores! Coach Delic, his second goal of the game, makes this a 2-goal lead with 1:09. And what a game it's been for 13 tonight.
Well, he just stayed on his horses, won that foot race, and just unfortunately, RPI wasn't able to keep that puck in. And that's Wilson doing everything he can without taking a penalty, trying to prevent that shot from going at the open net. With 1:05 left, Miami's got themselves a 2-goal lead.
Rivera stays in the cage at the moment. Tinling jets this puck out all the way into the crowd again. So a stoppage, 58.8 on the clock. Under the final minute here. It was an electric start to this contest, a fiery second period. Third period, some back and forth play. Not a lot to show for it. Empty net goal for Miami to pad the lead. Tinling loses this draw, pops out, and it's sent in by Donato. Here's Rivera's for Van Dam. Clear saucer off the glass for Classic. Received by Smith. Here's Smith. A dump in. 39 seconds on the clock. Out to Lindbergh. Off the skate, he can't corral it. Out for Helgeson. over for Classic. Tinling picks up. Now Classic 22 seconds. It would take a miracle to pop 2 under 20 seconds. Drobach around the zone. It's picked up and numbers up ice for Miami. Morozov, a shot off the post. Here's Tinling. Oh, he was that close to the third in his debut. And that'll do it here from the Houston Fieldhouse. The RPI Engineers suffering a 5-3 loss on opening night.
Well, RPI is going to have to find a way to shut that line down. Delic, Morozov, and Giampa, they had themselves a heck of a game, and 7 points between that top line.
Good start for Miami, who's now 3-0. They swept Ferris State last weekend. There's the Engineers giving Brever some taps as he had a outstanding performance in net against his former team. He'll play them likely again tomorrow. We'll see what the goaltending situation is. As Miami skates off the ice 3-0, they're looking to sweep back-to-back weekends, this time on the road. So the Engineers will play against Miami again tomorrow night at 6 o'clock here at the Fieldhouse. That will be on ESPN+. And Dan, it was a good contest tonight. What was the biggest takeaway you had?
Well, I like the way RPI, they just got to sharpen up and tighten up and clean some things up as far as their offense, hitting the net on some scoring opportunities. I mean, you know, as far as their special teams, I thought they did real well as far as their special teams were concerned. They were 1 for 4. Miami was 2 for 4 on the power play. So, and I think they have to play a full 60 minutes. I thought that they got away from their game there in the second period where the tide turned in Miami's favor.
They had a lot of juice coming out of the gate. Here's some highlights from the third period. Not too many. Morozov, the kid, hits the post looking for the hat trick. He had a phenomenal debut. We'll see more of 18 tomorrow night here against the Engineers. A 5-3 final at the Houston Fieldhouse. Here's the season ahead. We got Miami tomorrow night. Boston College next weekend. That'll be here on SNY as well. That's a big one. Circle the calendar. Providence as well on October 18th, that Saturday. Out to Minnesota State. And Fridge, we broke down some things before, but with the way Clarkson's played Penn State, November 8th, that's another one to look at in a month.
Oh, yeah, they've been playing real solid hockey. And I don't know how they ended up tonight, but I think they were 1 goal behind Penn State there in the third period. And then you got New Hampshire coming up, University of UMass Lowell. And then it's before Christmas break, you got the rest of the ECAC.
And Wallace will face off against his former team, Niagara. Cornell, Quinnipiac mixed in as well. Some of those top teams in the conference. Tonight has been a presentation of the ECAC on SNY. This is a production produced by camera operators Joseph Bowers, Kate Goldstein, Toby McDonald, Alistair McBride, Gavin Finn, Christian Kenner. Audio from Tom Worrell and Linda Wang. Graphics from Thomas Golden. Directed by Anab Sahai. Produced by Edward Chan. Replay from Thomas Golden. And special thanks to Doug Christensen, Nick Sherbinski, Christy Bowers, Adrian Donnelly, and the rest of the folks here at RPI and SNY. For Dan Fridgen, I'm Matthew Mugno. It's been a pleasure here on SNY tonight for the RPI season opener. Not what the fans wanted to start with Eric Lang's campaign at behind the bench for the Engineers, but certainly another contest tomorrow to get things back on track. Have a good night, folks.